Have you ever felt like nobody has taught you how to deal and cope with loneliness when it comes to entrepreneurship or self-improvement? Because now you've started to improve your life, change your mindset a bit, but you just cannot seem to get to understand, why are these people not telling me that I would get lonely all of this time? About a year ago, I was sitting in my room, literally just like crying because I felt so alone. It wasn't that I didn't have anybody, but it was kind of like, no, I felt like nobody could relate to me. Nobody was at the same position as I was in. Nobody could help me slingshot and get into the opportunities and help me get to my goals. I was all alone, I felt like. And this was more of a feeling of loneliness and these types of things, rather than I didn't really have anyone. I felt so alone that nobody would come to help me, nobody would come to save me. And my mother knocks on my door and she asks me, why haven't you made the laundry? Why haven't you kind of like picked up the dishwasher or whatever? And I just simply kind of like give a bullshit answer, to be honest. I just say, I don't really know, blah, 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 blah. And I just kind of like am very, very distant, and I'm not at the place mentally where I wanted to be. And so I open up to my mother about this, and I speak about how I've felt recently, like nobody could relate to me. I've been working so hard, but it just feels like a hole in my heart and soul is missing. It's kind of like, when you have a puzzle and you have the last like thing in the middle that is missing. I felt like that one was my loneliness. I couldn't cope with it anymore. The, and it was very, very difficult because there wasn't really anything I could do. So I decided to start improving my social skills. I started getting into a program that I will talk about now. And the importance that is that you just stick with me here. Complete full focus. It to full screen. Just watch it with full attention, full curiosity, because by the end of this video you'll have every single one of my toolkits that I've utilized to gain friends. Now every single weekend, if I want to, I can go out and do something. For example, right now it's 5 p.m. on a Friday. I've just recorded, I think, 3 videos before this, and I'm really trying to put the effort in. And I feel so fulfilled. I feel so purposeful because I have many things in order. And I have an abundance of friends. I have an abundance of the things that I'm doing. I feel like my mindset has shifted because of this. And now I will get into the program. I actually forgot screen recording, so I just need to do that really quickly. It's going to take just a minute or two. Not a minute or two, that's extremely exaggerated, but the important thing about this is that you need to just have faith that it will get better someday. Now I've started to screen record, so now we can actually jump right into the program that I'm going to utilize. So my story, as I told you before, how I went from like crying and now I have an abundance of friendships, of relationships. I can literally talk to anybody. I feel like people do rely on me rather than I rely on them. And the system that I want you to utilize is just a 3-step, very simple framework. First of all, you need a very strong purpose. Now, why? A purpose is the foundation of your life. It's kind of like the most important thing. Of course, you have your family, you have your relationship, you have love, you have friends, you have things that feel like is necessary. And perhaps you don't even have friends at this point, but you have a few things that feel necessary, that are purposeful. And the reason why those things are so important, because they have a strong purpose. You love them, you care for them, you want them to get better and exceed their current level of skill. So these things do have a strong purpose attached to them. And what you need when you're young is a strong sense of why, a purpose, something that can literally wake you up in the middle of the night. I'm not even exaggerating when I'm talking about this. This night, I remember waking up and my alarm went off, and I remember that I was literally in a dream right there and then. I wasn't really in a dream, but I was kind of like unconscious or kind of like half conscious when I woke up. I was literally thinking about entrepreneurship, my YouTube channel, how I could provide more content, more value to my viewers. I am literally thinking about these things. I'm thinking about business. I'm thinking about entrepreneurship. I'm thinking about how I can contribute to people, how I can put in even more effort into my videos. What intentions do I need to have in order for me to get to the next level? I'm thinking about these things day and night, every single day. When I'm going to school, I'm literally thinking to myself, what are some things that I'm grateful for, because I'm literally using a method right now that is allowing me to grow. So a strong sense of purpose is the most important thing in your life. So for example, for me, it's kind of like to contribute to people and to make people feel like great and blessed and all of these things. So how do we cultivate a strong purpose? You need simply an A to B. A to B. And then the process that it takes is simply that you need to define where you are right now, and that takes humility. You need to define where you are right now. Where are you in your life? Do you feel like you are satisfied with where you are currently, or do you feel dissatisfied, or do you feel like kind of like in the middle? If you don't define this, you will never ever make the progress that you've always wanted. So pick your A point right now. Where are you right now? It's completely, be brutally honest with yourself. If you say, I'm not where I want to be, even though some people say that you're on a really, really great trajectory, that's completely fine, because now you're going to define your B point, and without an A point, you don't even know. Because like if you're driving a car, I'm trying to, how do I draw a car? I think, yeah, there we go, a car. This is so accurate. So if you have a car, oh, what a voice crack. I'm literally so amateurish. But if you have a car and you want to get to a B point, but you don't even know where you are right now, like where am I even? You think to yourself, okay, so I want to get to, let's say I want to get to the UK, for example, and you're driving a car and you're kind of like, you have no idea where you are currently, and you want to get to the border of the UK, but you don't even know where you are currently. How are you going to end up at B if you don't know where you are currently? So it's kind of like a no-brainer to just set yourself the intention to actually be at a place right now, and then for you to actually get into B. So define your A point so that you can know how to get to your B point. For example, this can be the UK or whatever. This is simply an analogy for you to understand this process. So you need A to B. And how you define B is simply you set a goal that is reasonably unreasonable. And how you do that is, first of all, you write a list of 10 goals that you've always wanted to achieve, or 10 goals that you would like to consider. I have no idea how many things I've drawn right here or written. But you write a list of 10 goals, and then you simply circle a few of them that you would most like to achieve over the course of like the next 100 days, over the course of a year, for example. You set yourself that goal, and you simply kind of like, okay, so I want to get into a business model, I want to get into this career perhaps, and then I want to level up my fitness. And you have 3 goals right now that you've excluded from this list of 10, and you move them into a list of like 3 goals, 1 goal, 2 goals. If it's 1 goal, it's really, really great. Ask yourself, what 1 goal would I like to achieve today? What 1 goal would have the greatest positive impact on my life if I were to achieve it today? And if you have like 3 goals and you're pretty unsure on what to do next, what you simply ask yourself is like, what process would you enjoy the most? And then you will probably think to yourself, okay, so when it comes to studying, I wouldn't really appreciate that, because like I don't really know how to study, and I don't really want to get into procrastination side of things. I want to get into business, but kind of like it seems a bit boring to just kind of like be cold DMing people all day. So I don't want to do that. And now I'm going with fitness because I want to do that. I would like to actually go to the gym, kind of like build a statue of yourself, and you just want to build this statue of yourself that you're polishing and tweaking at. I have no idea how I'm even drawing this. So you have this kind of like statue of yourself, and that's the thing that you want to work on. And then you're like, okay, so now I've decided what my purpose is. It's going to be fitness. And then you have like, okay, so now inside of fitness, what is going to be my B goal that I want to end up at? Because you need a very, very specific B point. It cannot just be fitness. It cannot just be studying. It needs to be very, very specific. It can be to get 75% A's. It can be building a 6-pack with a great upper chest that is really, that looks kind of like David Lade, if you know who that is, or Alex Eubanks. You kind of like define your dream physique or something, and then you just get into it. So I've spoken a lot about these things, but the reason that I'm repeating myself a little bit in some of the videos is simply because I want to hammer in the information of the importance of picking a goal that you can stick to, because there's been countless times in my own journey when it comes to improving myself or doing business or whatever, where I haven't had a strong enough reason for why I'm doing these things. So that's why I'm constantly reminding myself and reminding you that the strongest thing that you need is a why and a foundation. And the more often you repeat this, the less likely you will be to quit and to not succeed. And the reason also because like you don't want to quit in these things, because if you are running, if you're running right now and you're on like a mile, your mile or kilometers, whatever you want to count, but let's say you're at like kilometers 45, you're going to run just as many miles and kilometers as possible. I think this is like roughly like 29 miles. I would just, my estimate would be that this is miles, this is kilometers, and you just want to get into as many miles or kilometers as possible. But at kilometer 45, you kind of like think, why don't I just take my bicycle instead? Because that will be a lot easier for me to kind of, I have no idea how to draw a bicycle, but you get what I'm saying. You simply, when the pain starts to arise, when you don't really feel like doing the thing, that's when your mind will start to question things and want to change things up. And if you don't have a strong why, so for example, I'm running to get to raise money for a charity, for example, then that's a really strong foundation. So when you do get the urge to go on your bike, you just kind of like neglect it because you're actually doing something, you're doing this for something. This is one of the most important things when it comes to like changing your life, improving yourself, whatever. Simply have a strong enough why. It will beat anyhow, any obstacle, anything. And this is how you get into a purpose. And once you have a purpose, you just need to grind. So what I mean by this is that you will have a lot of time once you feel a bit lonely, a little bit like alone, and you don't really know. And this is a very great emotional outlet. And what an emotional outlet is, it is when you feel sad, you feel angry, whatever, you can't take away that pain, but what you can do is, first of all, you can ventilate with somebody, so you get your emotion a little bit kind of like outside of you, but you still do have the energy within you, and then you take that energy and you put it into something beautiful, like entrepreneurship, helping people, going to the gym, building something that you're proud of. And an outlet is one of the best things that you can utilize to kind of like get away from this sadness, from this anger, because you have something, you have a lot of energy inside of you that can be a bit negative, but you can turn it into something beautiful, into something that you love and that you care for. So I'm asking you, are you willing to go to the distance and grind hard with this? And if you feel a bit lost on these things and you don't really know, how do I keep myself accountable? How do I do these things? You should join my program. I have a program with a link in the description that you can buy today. It is a pre-built system for you to actually go from A to B. If you feel lost, undisciplined, you feel lonely, I have the perfect solution for you. You will meet like-minded individuals, you will meet me, I will be pretty active in there, I will have literally step-by-step frameworks and accelerator programs where you can go from A to B, finding your purpose, getting into a new mission, full guides, everything. Like if you found any value out of my YouTube channel, I will put in 10 times or even more, 100 times more value and time and thinking into these things rather than my YouTube channel. And imagine how valuable that would be. And it's not even that expensive. You probably can afford it. What else are you going to spend your money on? Because if you were to spend it on junk food, you would literally just add like body fat to yourself. But this is your choice. I'm not trying to oversell or anything. But you just need to understand that if you want to slingshot and if you're actually serious about this, you should check out the link in the description and go and just check it out. Just see if it's something that fits you. Because if you do, the trajectory of your life will kind of like look like this. You will literally have like, it will be more like this. You feel a little bit stagnant right now, and then boom, it shoots up because you decided to join my program. You learn from somebody who's built their dream body. You learned from somebody who's actually went this protocol. I've studied mindset, discipline, things for like, I don't even know, but it's so many hours. I know literally the ins and outs of everything. Of the mindset type of things for the people who do want to find purpose, who want to find fulfillment in these things. Now when you do have a lot of energy, you just put into the A to B process. You just fall in love with the grind and you do these things. Because once you do meet a person who you want to be friends with, what you will do is that you have such an abundance of things. You have something greater than you that you get to offer to other people that will kind of like help you in social situations. It will gain you knowledge. It will gain you things to kind of like talk about because you have something going from your life. Because if you have something going forward in your life and improving, then people will get attracted to that simply because you're not needy, you don't really feel like you're totally dependent on your friends. And now when it comes to support system, just join my program. It will literally, you can literally make so much further progress. Just find somebody who's on the same mission as you, and this is the solution to these things. And you will literally get like 10 times the results that you've gotten right now because you have people around you who will constantly remind you. If you slack, you will know it, and you will have people who will have enough resources to actually turn that around and turn it into something beautiful. Because there's been several moments, if I would have just had some support system around me, I would have literally went from this kind of like anxious, not depressed, but kind of like this anxious, like I felt a bit weird, I don't really know what I want to do with my life, and I did have a program that would teach me everything on how to go from undisciplined, lazy, you don't really feel like you have a strong mindset, to go to feeling fulfilled, purposeful, working on a new mission, accomplishing your goals and desires, and then you've built yourself such a strong foundation that you can get into business, you can get into your dream career, you can start leveling up finally, just because you've allowed yourself to actually invest in your own journey and take this opportunity to do this. So this is simply my framework. And also another thing is just improve your social skills, like just do that, because if you improve your social skills, you will literally become the person when you do get into when you're meeting a new person, you literally know what you need to do in order for you to actually impress that person, or for you to actually, they want you to be in their lives. And the simplest, most easy way to do this is simply just to smile, try to just kind of like talk about your life, be authentic, be yourself, and try to just come off and think to yourself, if I were in their shoes, how would I want me to act right now? And you simply act like that. And this is the way that I've created an abundance of friends and people around me. I don't say this to brag or anything, but simply this is the protocol and the method that I use to actually going from kind of like lonely, crying in my room, to now I can literally do, like, I feel like I can approach anybody. I can do these things, and I feel so proud that I finally made that decision back like a bit over a year ago, and I promise you that you can make so much further progress and faster progress than I did if you just kind of like put your mind to it and complete it successfully. This was all I had to say for today. I really do hope that you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.